Welcome to Kayfabe Crimes, the podcast where wrestling is not an alibi. I'm Kim.
And I'm Aaron, and we're going to discuss the crimes committed on AEW Wrestling this week.
First, we need to go over some ground rules, or rules that we follow, I guess, so that everyone is on the same page. First things first. If it happens during the match and the referee allows it, then it's not a crime.
Yes.
This includes everything in a tag and in a multi-man match. Any cheating with people in said match is allowed. If they're not in the match, it's not allowed.
Yeah. We're going to allow the referees to be the arbiters of the rules, basically be the police inside the ring for us, to keep it easier for us. And secondly, we're not going to include anything that's actually said in promos. We feel like promos are meant to get each other riled up. And if we include promos, we'd probably be giving everybody 100 years every week. And while it would be fun, it would get very, very boring very, very quickly.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay. So what we're going to do then is we're going to start talking about Dynamite. So you get that up for us. Okay. So the first crime committed during Dynamite was when, after the Hangman and Josh Alexander match, Carl and the Hot Dog came out to the ring, and then Carl carried on, kind of stopped before he got to the ring, and then Hangman started threateningly walking towards him, and then Hangman hit Kyle, and then a brawl ensued. Now, I'm pretty sure you're going to start off with Hangman did nothing wrong.
Okay. When we first watched it, I was unfortunately, Kyle is self-defense, but watching it back, he was very, very threatening, so it could go either way.
Yeah.
They were both, yes, Hangman was full on walking threateningly, but also Kyle was standing there yelling at him, and he even did the hand gestures, come on then.
Yeah, okay.
So who was self-defense and
from
who was...
From a law side point of view, hand gestures and words are not a reason to start an attack. Kyle stopped, and Hangman did walk towards him like he was going to attack him. So I feel like, unfortunately for Hangman and for you, Hangman has done something wrong this time.
Okay, he did hit first. No, he didn't actually hit first, but he did threateningly walk towards him. Kyle hit first.
He was being a bit of a menace, and he walked towards him.
He had those angry eyes.
He had the angry eyes. If he had stayed where he was, nothing would have happened, and they would just looked at each other.
I mean, we all know that's not true, but
yeah,
we've got no proof of that.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I think it's going to be Hangman counted as an assault on this one.
Okay. I hate it.
Okay, so we're going to have to determine what level of assault. Because it's the first time we're doing this on the episode, we're going to go through each level of assault. So we'll take them one by one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go first. Common assault is when a person inflicts violence on someone else or makes them think they are going to be attacked. It does not have to involve physical violence, threatening words, or raised fists. It's enough for a crime to have been committed provided the victim thinks they're about to be attacked. Spitting at somebody is another example. Threatening
words.
Yeah.
Kyle was threatening words.
He was just going, come on, that's not threatening words. Hangman escalated it. They were both being as threatening as each other until Hangman escalated it.
Ugh, fine. Actual bodily harm, or ABH, means the assault has caused some hurt or injury to the victim. It doesn't need to be serious or permanent, just more than trifling or transient, which means it must at least cause minor injuries or pain or discomfort. Could also be psychological, but more than just fear or anxiety.
And then we've got grievous bodily harm, which is the assault has caused serious physical harm. It does not have to be permanent or dangerous. For example, a broken bone would amount to GBH. In some cases, a broken bone might lead to permanent disability, but in others, it might heal without leaving any long-term effects. GBH can also include psychiatric injury or someone passing on an infection, for example, through sexual activity.
Yep.
Okay, so there is wounding as well, but it is part of GBH. It's if you actually draw blood or break the skin as well. So I'm going to go from this one. It's going to be common assault.
Yeah, I agree. It's just common assault.
Okay, so next what we're going to look at is different levels of common assault that can be committed. There's two different parts of this. We've got the culpability, so how much did they do this thing? How much were they at fault for doing this? And then you've got how much harm was caused. Which one would you prefer to take?
I'll just do culpability.
Okay.
So, high culpability is the intention to cause fear or serious harm. Victim obviously vulnerable due to age, personal characteristics or circumstances. Prolonged/persistent assault, use of substantial force, strangulation or suffocation, threatened or actual use of a weapon or weapon equivalent, and a leading role in group activity. Whereas lesser culpability is the lesser role in a group activity. Mental disorder or learning disability where linked to the commission of the offence, excessive self-defence, and all other cases not captured by Category A.
Okay. So I feel like there was nothing really captured in Category A on that. I think it was just Category B.
I think it was excessive self-defence. I think...
Yeah. No, I think it was...
Yeah, he was... It started because Kyle came out to threaten him. Yeah. So in his mind, it would be self-defense.
Yeah. Legally, I don't think it was self-defense, but to Hangman, maybe it would count as self-defense. He was.
So I think because he is the one getting this sentencing. Yeah. Can we say it's B because it was excessive self-defense?
No, I don't think it counts as excessive self-defense, but I do think it counts as B because it doesn't match anything that is in A.
Okay. I still win. It's fine.
You still get what you want, but just not the way you want it.
Yeah.
And then we're going to discuss harm. How much harm was caused to Kyle from this? Category 1 was more than minor physical or psychological harm / distress. Category 2 is minor physical or psychological harm, or Category 3, no, very low level of physical harm or distress. I'm going to go with 3 because
straight away 3.
Yeah, he got out the ring. He got himself safe and he was standing up. There was no real harm to him, was there?
No.
Which we'll come to in a little bit because a bit more happens a bit later on. But yes, at the point I think now it's just Category 3.
Yeah.
So B and 3.
So now we combine them.
Comes to a community order.
So
for Hangman.
See, he's a cowboy. He knows we can't do like a farm thing.
No, I think because he is a cowboy. He likes being a cowboy. Something to do with like cleaning up the city, where you got to be stuck in the city, away from the horses and the plants.
Yeah. I think something to do with kids, as in like.
No, see, he was a teacher, so I think he's.
Yeah, that's why you'd hate it.
No, I think I think he'd enjoy it because if when you look at the pictures of him with the kids and all that, he's loving it. He's had a great time. I think it's just going to be walking around the city, picking up trash.
Okay.
Or rubbish, because we're actually American. We're actually English, not American.
Yeah, picking up rubbish.
Picking up rubbish from the city centre. No music, no nothing, and he's just got to like be far away from the plants as he can be.
Okay.
So, would you like to go over what happened next?
So next, the hot dog spoke to Josh Alexander. We don't know exactly what he said, but we can infer.
Something a Canadian, apparently.
Yeah, very Canadian, with all the extra U's. Yeah. And then, after he's spoken to him, he attacks Hangman.
Yes.
So we can assume that Don said, "Go attack Hangman," and has something over him.
Don was looking for new people for the family because he's got a couple of injuries going on. So I feel like he may be worming Alexander into that position. Yeah. It was an unprovoked attack. You can't even say it was in self-defense of Kyle because Kyle was out of the ring by that point. He was nice and safe.
Yeah.
So I think it is straight away an assault on Hangman.
Yeah. And then I'll just go over the next bit so we can do that. Okay. And then after that bit, Kyle got back in the ring and brainbusted Hangman. Yeah. So again, that was just it. Force for no reason.
Yeah. So again, from what we've discussed before, I think both of them will just count as common assaults.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
They're pretty much going to get exactly the same as Hangman got. Common assault. Maybe give Kyle a bit higher.
Kyle could be Category 2.
Yeah. or even category 1, because he dropped him on his head. He was
Yeah.
he was already done at that point for damage.
Mm-hmm.
So for Josh, I think it's going to be a community order. For Carl, I think you might be right. Category 1 maybe might be a good idea for him. 16 weeks category, because there was no self-defense. He was already well out of it. He got dropped. He dropped him straight on his head.
On the top of his head, it was spiked.
Yeah. So I think for category, I think I'm going to range 16 weeks custody for Carl. I think.
Yeah.
While I would think, we've also now got to think of a.
See, this one sucks because we don't know enough about Josh Alexander.
Yeah, the only time we've seen Josh Alexander before really was when he came to the UK for not Rev Pro, for Soft Pro. I always get them two mixed up when I'm speaking about them because they're so similar in name. When he came to Soft Pro, so literally the only time we've really seen him before he got, because we've not really we tried watching TNA once, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it wasn't our thing really. Basically, it boiled down to. I get the feeling he's amateur wrestling because of the helmet and the singlet and all stuff like that. So I'm thinking maybe train some wrestlers in amateur wrestling that need it. I think that would be a thing for him. What do you think?
I'm going to agree because I can't think of anything. But it has to be someone really shitty.
No, not really.
Someone who you would hate to teach.
Yeah. Nick Wayne. We keep using Nick Wayne for this position, but he's a cocky little shit. So training Nick Wayne, and he's not allowed to say sorry because he's Canadian. And no boots.
No boots.
Okay, so we've got that in there. So I like that one. Training wrestlers. And that'll be Nick Wayne. So the next client that commits is during the tag team title match. Shelton grabs hold of Khan and throws him into Excalibur. One of your favourite things that happen is hitting a bitch with a bitch, basically, isn't it?
But, okay, right, I'm going to admit that I laughed when it first happened because the way the chair was, it looked like Excalibur's legs were just hanging in the air, and I thought that was hilarious. And then I realised...
Oh shit, it's Excalibur.
And also his legs were just hanging there. He was actually down on the ground. So I am sorry, Excalibur, for laughing.
I'm not.
And I hope you're okay.
I'm really not.
Because you're a dick.
Yeah. So he hit a bitch with a bitch. I think it's going to be a common assault.
Yeah. It was inadvertent as well. He threw him on the to the table.
Yeah. But he knew. I think
the way he threw him.
He knew people were behind there, so I don't think it was in the. I don't think he meant it to happen, but he knows how strong he is.
Yeah.
Now what we need to decide is: do we class Khan as a weapon? Did he throw a weapon at Excalibur?
I mean, I don't see why not. Like, I'm pretty sure a person could be a weapon.
Yeah. Like if you're throwing...
if you can use a person as a shield, why can't you use a person as a weapon?
Attack and defense, yeah. So are we going to class using the car as a weapon for this?
I want to, but I also know that he was also trying to injure Khan.
Yes. So I don't think he actually was using him as a weapon.
So as fun as it would be to say Khan is a weapon, if it was Toa Leoa threw Khan into one of the Hurt Syndicate, that would be him using as a weapon.
Yes.
But it wasn't.
And the fact that it wasn't aimed for Excalibur. Well, if he picked him up and went, fuck it, you know what, I'm going to throw him at him, that's counting as a weapon. He was throwing him over the announce table. It happens to hit Thingy. So I think it is just going to be a category B lesser culpability on this one. And Excalibur was up, I think. He was not really any harm done.
Yeah, I mean, he had some psychological distress. Every time they were near the table, anyone for the rest of the show was near the table, he looked a bit scared. So I want to say it was category 2.
If it was, do you reckon, say, what we'll say is, do you think it's minor physical or psychological harm or more than minor?
I'm going to say minor because I imagine he'll be fine by tomorrow if he's on the show, but if not, we'll see how he is next week. Yeah. And I imagine he'll be like, okay, it was an accident. It's not gonna. It might happen again, but I don't need to be so scared all the time. Yes. It will fuck up my job. Mm-hmm. So I want to say minor.
Okay, so we're going for B and 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So for B and 2, that comes to a
high-level community order.
Okay, so for Shelton, what are we thinking?
Has to apologise to those women.
Yeah, I don't think it's his place to apologise. I think it is. I think partly of it, obviously. Yeah.
He said, "I like very nice things." Looking at the women.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing.
I also think he should just apologise for that anyway. I don't think that's a punishment. That whole section was just horrible.
I hated that. That's what I just said. That's a whole different thing. But
that whole section was just horrible and demeaning and just So I don't think we need to give him. I think everybody involved with that bit should just be apologising anyway. I don't think that as class as a punishment.
Yeah,
they should be doing
that
anyway.
Definitely agree.
I'm thinking training newbies at the gym. Because he seems like the type of person who get wound up when people are using gym equipment wrong.
Or he just has to be in the gym whilst newbies are trying to use gym equipment and not say anything to them.
Yes, he's there for safety. He's there because it's community order. He's got to be doing something for the community. So he's not allowed to get involved unless somebody's going to seriously injure themselves. Yeah. Other than that, he's just got to stand there and watch.
So every time they use it wrong, but in a safe way, they're not going to hurt themselves, he's not allowed to say anything.
Yeah, he's just got to watch. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good teamwork on that one, I think. Okay, so helping newbies at the gym.
Because he's one of those guys who'll be like, excuse me, that's not how you use that.
Actually, he's one of the super nerds at the gym.
Yeah.
He's the neckbeard of the gym.
Yeah.
Okay, so next, during the freeway, everybody's hitting each other, everybody's having a great time, everybody's fighting and everything. And Marina decides to take out Hobbs from behind.
Yeah, right on his bad leg. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, what do you expect?
Looking through the lists again, it's definitely going to be common assault.
Yeah.
I feel like everything's going to be
I think this whole episode is common assault.
Yeah. I don't think it's higher culpability. No. I think it's lower culpability because there's nothing that belongs in the higher culpability area. And Hobbs carried on with the match, so it's going to be, I think, another level 3 for harm.
Yeah,
I think it's good. It's
another community service.
Another community service for Marina. Marina, sorry. So we got last time we had her helping in the soup kitchen serving liver that she could not provide herself.
Yeah. If she was providing it, it had to be completely labelled.
Yeah. Brand new from a supermarket. What are we going to give her this time?
Well, she tried to injure his leg, so maybe something in the rehab area.
Yeah.
You
can feel like she'd get wound up when people weren't healing fast enough.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's been a week since we've been doing this.
Why are you walking again? Because I broke my legs.
Yes, but we've been doing the same thing for a week. Get on with it.
Yeah. So Marina's going to work in the rehabilitation clinic. Poor people that work with her like that. Okay. Okay, so do you want to go over the next bit while I type this out?
So the Bucks came out, and Matthew and his slutty little V-neck, can it go any lower?
Don't say that because you'll find a way to make it go lower.
Dude, just cut it open like Jay has done to his shirt.
But the thing is though, it's sluttier having it like that rather than having it all the way open.
I know, but I'm just saying.
And he's a little slut, and he loves being a little slut.
He's the little slut. So, so the little slut grabs a chair. He grabs a chair, but Swerve takes it from him and then hits him, which I'd say Swerve self-defense.
Yes.
And then Swerve stomps both. So Swerve stomps both of the Bucks and throws them over the barrier.
Yeah. So I'm with you on this one. I think it's total self-defense of the ops.
Yeah.
He got the chair from him. He did what he needed to do to stop them. Once he'd thrown them over the barrier and they were no longer a threat, he didn't do anything more to them. that we saw. He
might have.
He might have chased them after them and beat them up off camera, but we didn't see it.
We did not see anything, therefore.
So I'm going to go with self-defense of the ops on this one, so I totally agree with you with that. I don't think we need to give out any sentence for that.
Nope. And finally, Marina hits Hob again, but this time with a chair.
Mm-hmm.
And then Willow comes and takes her out.
Yes.
So Willow is 100% self-defense.
100% self-defense. She's out there defending her homies. She's making sure Hobbs doesn't get any more damage done to him. And I think, obviously, Marina, it's going to be common assault because Hobbs is up at the end walking around fire. I don't think it was ABH or GBH. I don't think it was anywhere near that.
I think we just add a couple of weeks to her rehab clinic.
When we go back to the common assault list, I think she might actually get actual custody for this one because I think it counts as culpability A.
Oh yeah, because she used a weapon.
Yes, so threatening or actual use of a weapon would be high culpability.
It would be high culpability.
And while it was A and either 3 or 2, so because it is a chair, it's going to do some damage.
I want to say it was 2 because he couldn't get back up until after the match had finished.
I'm happy to agree with that. So it's going to be A and 2,
which is 16 weeks.
16 weeks. So he's going to get a bit of jail time. So 16 weeks when we can find the box to type it in. Okay, so for Dynamite, that is done. We're going to take a little break.
Wait. I know we normally save this until like the end of the full episode.
Go on, yeah.
But I want to just say how happy I am about how the actual ending when the champagne and everyone's so happy. Like it made me smile, and and seeing Swerve smile. Like Swerve doesn't smile.
Yeah.
He got some champagne in his eye, and he was like, "Fuck's sake, what do I do?"
I'm gonna kill these fools.
But he was smiling, and I liked it.
Yeah, I was very happy with the ending. I think the fact that the ops had some people coming and helping them, she had Willow out there helping them, is a very good thing. I think the good guys are smartening up.
Yeah.
They're starting to work together. They realise that's the only way they're going to bring out the Death Riders. I think the only question now is who's going to beat Mox for the title.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's gonna be the final of the Owen is going to definitely have Will Ospreay involved in it some way. So I am slowly leaning towards Will Ospreay winning the whole thing because he came out at the end there. Yeah. He's kind of friends with everybody that's in that ring already. He's not, so I feel like it could be Will Ospreay that unites them all properly and brings it all together.
I can see that.
And then you'd have a Will Ospreay defense in the front door.
That would be good.
Yeah.
That would be good. I'm not going to get into it too much because I just wanted to say it was really nice.
Put a smile on your face.
And also I hope Hook is okay.
Yeah. Whatever's happened with you, Hook, keep safe. See you soon.
And we will be back in a bit. And we are back with Collision. And let's just say it was
chaos. Chaos is probably the best word for especially at the start. Let's get going because we've got a lot to get through with this. So first of all, in the middle of them announcing what matches were going to go on from the top of the ramp, which was a really nice different way to doing it. I quite enjoyed that. Marina barges in.
Should have stayed there.
Should have stayed there. We'll get to that later, but they definitely should have stayed hidden. Marina comes in, dragging somebody with them, one of the backstage workers, does a judo throw. Sorry, Taz, you probably tell me wrong for saying that.
It wasn't a judo throw, oh my god.
It's a ugagamagi or something stupid like that. And she kicks them, and then she throws them off the stage. And then Claudio and Utes just cause chaos, smashing cameras, throwing them around, kicking them stuff, and basically just causing a lot of chaos.
Because they are pissed.
They are fuming. So I think for everybody that's involved, so Marina, Claudio, Utes, and Mox, I think it's going to probably start off with disorderly behaviour.
Yeah.
They were causing chaos, they're causing trouble throughout. Because it's the first time we've done this on this podcast, we will go through what is disorderly behaviour, how culpable you can be. So disorderly behaviour is causing trouble, causing upsetting people or intend to cause harassment, alarm, or distress. Doesn't actually have to physically hurt anybody. It's just causing alarm and distress, which we could comfortably say that all people involved caused that
100%.
with what was going on at the start of the show today. So for culpability, same as all the other offences, how much did they do this? How much are they to blame for doing this? So for this offence, it's got higher or lower culpability. So targeting of individuals by a group, a sustained incident, a use of substantial force, substantial disturbance, production of weapons or missiles thrown, and then B, lesser culpability, all other cases.
Yeah, doesn't really leave much, does it?
No, I think there's a couple there that they've called that is high culpability. It was a sustained incident. There's a substantial disturbance, and they were throwing bits all over the place. So I don't think they were weapons, but they were throwing bits.
I think, well, they were missiles. Like anything thrown is a missile, really, isn't it? I think the only person who doesn't get high, actually, the only person who doesn't would be Mox. The most he did was like slam the camera down.
Yeah.
He didn't throw it anywhere. He didn't attack anyone.
Okay.
He just,
so everybody other than Mox is an A and Mox is a B. You say?
That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll quickly go over the harm. So category 1 is serious distress or alarm caused, or distress or alarm caused to multiple persons present. And then 2 is, again, all other cases. Well, there was a whole audience, so multiple present.
A couple of thousands of people were causing distress, distress caused to them there. So I think we can't really argue anything other than category 1 with that one, to be honest.
No. So I think they all get category 1.
So A1 and A1 and B1. Yeah.
Okay, so A1 is 12 weeks custody. No, 26 weeks custody.
26 weeks custody. And B1 is 12 weeks. So everybody other than Mox gets 26 and Mox gets 12. Okay, so I just put 26 there and then 12 there, and I will work out the rest from when I come along.
And we also need to do Marina. She attacked someone.
Yes.
Which I'm just going to say common assault.
Yeah. From what we discussed earlier on in the show, the 3 different definitions of assault, it clearly falls under common assault. With how culpable she is, she did intend to cause fear or serious harm, or she did actually cause harm. It wasn't prolonged or persistent. You could say it was substantial force. She did slam him out on the floor and then throw him off the stage.
Yeah.
There was no strangulation. There was no weapons, but she wasn't the lead in all of it.
Victim obviously vulnerable due to circumstances. They were backstage worker. They're not a wrestler.
Yes, they weren't part of the wrestling. Before, if somebody's like a referee or a security guard, we have said characters do fall underneath that. So I do agree with that. So yes, I think she's highly culpable on that. Harm. It's going to be a very hard one for this one. What do you think?
I'm going to say 2. Minor.
Minor physical or physical. Yeah.
Psychological at very least would be minor.
Yeah, I think physical minor as well. I don't think it was going to be no or very low because they were slammed onto the stage and then they're thrown off the stage.
They would have been scared.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be more than minor because there wasn't a prolonged attack. It was just boof, whoosh.
So we are going A and 2. Which is
gives her 16 weeks
custody. So
Marina's getting on a tear today.
16 plus the 26, right?
Yeah,
or
16.
Or is she only getting 16?
No, she's getting both because she did both. So she'll be 16 plus the 26 and plus what she got last episode.
She's got.
Oh, she's doing the Marina rehabilitation clinic class, and that's the one. That's it. Okay, yeah. So she'll be getting the 16 plus the 26. So she's on a tear today.
Yeah.
Okay, so after all of that chaos, we're going to move on to the next crime that happened, which was during the singles match.
It calms down for a little bit. Yep. This isn't too bad. It's what you'd expect from Don Callis.
Yes, so it was the Kevin Knight versus Archer match. Mm-hmm. And do you want to say what happened?
Yeah, so first of all, Don grabs Knight's foot. Mm-hmm. Not really anything.
No.
Knight catches him and just like, the fuck, dude.
Yeah.
But then a few minutes later, just as it goes into picture-in-picture, Knight is on the ground and Don Callis kicks him repeatedly. Like this is probably the most prolonged one he's done.
You were made up because you were like, I might be able to give him some sentences. I might be able to put him in prison for a bit.
Yes, it's prolonged. Does he get some custody time?
Let's go through it all and work it out. So, how culpable is he? I'll let you go for this one because you're happy about it.
So, I want to say hi because it was prolonged / persistent.
Yes.
It wasn't excessive self-defense.
No.
He doesn't have a mental disorder or learning disability. No. And it's not a lesser group role in the group activity.
Yeah. To put the smile on your face, I'm going to agree. He's highly culpable. The hot dog gets some prison time. So for damage, I don't know if he's going to get some prison time now. Saying this because I don't think it's anything higher than category 3. He carried on the match.
Yeah.
He won the match. There wasn't really a problem with him after the kicks. There's not going to be much power behind him. It's Don Colour, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Is it kicking you in his little slippers are not going to do much damage to anybody, is it?
So it's I agree. It's not much.
A3.
So unfortunately, A and 3 is only a community.
Oh,
it's only a community order, guys. And I'm sad.
You're very sad. I've been thinking of the one for Don Callis the last couple of weeks because it's been like, so you know how he gets wound up by all the Don Callis impersonators.
Yeah.
And you know how like they have like clown schools, like how to be a clown.
Yeah, I think I know where this is going.
You have Don Callis teaching people how to be Don Callis.
I love it. Yeah.
He's got to go out there and he's got to teach Don Callis school on how to be Don Callis.
Yeah.
Like gets them all in the right outfits, puts the scarf on them and everything for them. Like the Don Callis school of Don Callis.
Teaches them his mannerisms and
exactly.
Shit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I like that. It's not as good as prison time, but
no. But I think it'd be nearly as bad for him, honestly.
Okay, so
do you want to take the next bit because I know it broke your heart, or would you like me to do it because you can't actually articulate your thoughts?
I'm going to try.
You're going to try, okay.
Okay, so it was during the tag match with Rocky and Ishii versus Takeshita and was it Josh Alexander?
Josh Alexander,
yeah. See, I couldn't remember exactly who.
No.
At first, I thought he was just pissed because Ishii hit him by accident and then he didn't
talk about Rocky here, by the way.
Yeah, Rocky. Rocky was pissed. Mm-hmm. But then he comes back into the ring, helps Ishii up. And then somebody comes into the ring, which happens to be Trent. I
always love the commentary, like, who's that? When it's fucking
like,
clear.
You can see their face.
You can see his face.
So it was Trent. And Rocky attacks Ishii.
Yeah. And then Trent joins in.
And then the Don Callis family come back out.
Mm-hmm.
You're not sure at first if they're helping. I mean, they're not going to help Ishii, but they weren't sure like where they were standing.
Yeah, because they've got previous of if somebody's injured and out, they forget about you and don't care about them, so they could come back and hit Trent.
And just be coming for Trent.
Yeah.
But actually, of course, Don Callis had a massive wrench that he handed to Trent, who then used it to beat up Rock. Yeah. To beat up Ishii.
Ishii. Cracks Ishii in the head.
And none of the conglomeration was there to help him. Bullshit. Kyle was there.
You're fuming at Kyle. You're so angry at Kyle.
This is going to be my rant in a little bit.
You are so angry with Kyle.
So fucking angry at him. But we're going to come to that.
We'll come back to that later on. So, for me personally, I think Rocky is going to be common assault. If we get back up to common assault stuff and go through it, I think it's going to start. It's part of not a leading in the group attack, but it was a group attack on Ishii, 2-on-1. He was a prolonged and persistent attack. They carried on going through it, and so I think it's highly culpable on that one. Yeah. For Rocky, I think unfortunately, like we've done before, if it wasn't for Trent cracking him with a wrench, it probably would have been a 2 or 3 for harm. Yeah. But as we've done before, I think we keep it as whatever the end damage is counts for everybody.
He helped him.
Yeah. He held him while he did. Yeah. So I think it's going to be category 1 for damage.
I do agree that it would have been like 2 or 1 because Ishii was still out before the wrench got involved. But yeah, if we leave it, we go 1 definitely because we know.
You got hit in the head with a wrench.
You're
so distraught, you're confused.
I am. Yeah. So A and 1.
A and 1. That comes up as a 26 weeks custody.
Yeah.
Do you think this is going to stop Rocky Romero being the man of the world, travelling everywhere? Because certain countries are not going to let him anymore because he's got a criminal record.
Should have thought of that, shouldn't he?
Because he can't go to Canada. He can't. He won't come over here.
Yeah.
Trent, I think it's going to be inflicting GBH. He cracked him in the skull with a wrench. There's no way of getting around that. Do you want to go through the 2 on this one then?
Okay, so culpability. You got high culpability is significant degree of planning or premeditation. Victim obviously vulnerable due to age, personal circumstances or characteristics. Use of a highly dangerous weapon or weapon equivalent, strangulation or suffocation, leading role in group activity, and prolonged or persistent assault. Medium is, so this one has 3 culpabilities. Medium is use of a weapon or weapon equivalent that doesn't fall into category A. Lesser role in a group activity. Cases falling between A or C because it's both high and lesser categories are present, which balance each other out, or the offender's culpability falls between the factors as described in high and lesser culpability. Or C, lesser is no weapon used, excessive self-defense, impulsive or short-lived, and the offender has a mental disorder or learning disability.
I think it's going to fall straight into A.
Yeah.
With the prolonged persistent attack, there was use of a highly dangerous weapon. It's a big, heavy metal wrench.
So that was also planned.
It was both,
He spoke to Dom before.
Yeah, it's not the kind of thing you keep in your pocket, is it? In your suit pocket.
No, that's the only reason they went back, so that he could get it, because there's no way he was carrying that around.
He wasn't sneaking around with it, yeah. So yeah, I totally agree. High culpability. There's no other way around that, really.
You want to go over?
Yes. So again, there's 3 on this one. There's 3 different categories of harm. Category 1 is particularly grave or life-threatening injury cause. Injury resulting in physical or psychological harm resulting in lifelong dependency or on third-party care. Offence results in permanent, irreversible injury or condition which has a substantial or long-term effect on the victim's ability to carry out their normal day-to-day activities. Category 2 is a grave injury or offences result in permanent, irreversible injury or condition not falling within Category 1. And Category 3 are all other cases of serious harm or all other cases of wounding. I think Ishii, obviously got cracked in the head with a wrench. He's a tough bastard, though.
He's the stone pitbull, so
I think he's going to fall into Category 3.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so it was A and 3. Let's see what he gets from that. So it's 1 to 3 years in custody.
So 3 years.
3 years in custody for Trent. He's just come back and look, he's getting 3 years already. Okay.
Bye-bye.
So I'll describe this next one because you did the last one, and also I don't think you can actually talk about Megan Bain without going more red and flustered. So Megan Bain had a 2-on-1 match against Ashley Vox and Rebecca Scott, and after the match was finished, and they were both already incapacitated on the floor, she picked them up by the head and just slammed them into the ground. I think it's a double case of common assault.
Yeah.
She wasn't particularly trying to slam the head into the ground. She just pushed the whole body. I think if it was the head, maybe it was being ABH, but it was just slamming them into the ground. So I think common assault on it.
So yeah, I'm gonna say it's just common assault. I mean,
yeah, I think it's definitely a common assault. I don't think it's anything more of if she'd been perfectly aiming to get their faces on the ground, you might have been able to say ABH or something along them lines. But I think she was just slamming their whole body into the ground and just happened to be holding the head with it.
Yeah.
But I do think it is high culpability because it was use of substantial force.
Yeah.
She is the substantial force. She is the force.
And the whole reason she does this is to cause fear.
Yeah. Yeah, and bow down to her. So yeah, I think it is going to be high culpability, and then for damage,
I just want to say low.
Yeah,
small level of
it could
harm
be
and distress.
it could be category 2 though, looking at minor physical or psychological harm or distress. She's a powerful woman. She's going to slam them quite hard.
That's true.
I reckon we go for maybe category 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, she's powerful.
Yeah. So for A and 2, she gets 16 weeks custody.
Oofed.
Oh. Yeah. She's alright. She's not.
She gets that twice. So
Yeah.
it's 30.
Yeah, 32. 32. Okay. So then, you want to tell about what about the tantrum?
God. This is
Do you want to talk about the tantrum?
So, for Adam Cole, he has a open challenge for his belt, and the Death Riders are pissed. So of course they send one of them, and of course it's one of the most powerful, I'd say, out of the
Yeah,
men.
100%. Yeah.
Claudio.
Yeah.
And he is coming out all pissed off. He gets over the barrier, picks up a chair, and throws it.
Yeah.
This then hits the commentator's desk, which bounces and then hits Nigel.
Yes.
So first of all, I want to say that I don't think it was intentional to hit anyone.
No, honestly, obviously not. No.
I don't think he even meant to hit the table.
Yeah.
If you watch it back, it kind of curves over the table, but like the dynamite or the collision sign kind of got in its way.
Yeah, 100%. So I think it will count as part of the disorder he got before, and even though it was accidental, I do think it does still count as a common assault on Nigel.
Yeah. No, I do agree.
It hit him, it hurt him, so it does count as an assault. So I think that is included in that there.
Yeah.
Do you want to go for the assault categories this time?
So
See what we
the
think.
culpability, I'm going to say A, because he wanted to cause fear.
Yes, yeah.
And there was substantial use of a weapon.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Ish. I think if we're not fully happy giving it high culpability, I think we need to go with the low culpability.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, I can't quite justify.
You haven't got a strong enough opinion on it.
Yeah.
I think we've got to go for the lesser culpability on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So B for culpability.
The harm. You see, Nigel was scared for most of the show.
Yeah, but I think that was also with what comes later happens.
Yeah.
I don't think him throwing the chair caused Nigel to be scared. I think it's what comes after the match that's caused him to be scared. Yeah, what I mean.
I want to say it was 2 though.
Yeah.
Because he was
Doctor had to come over and have a look at
Doctor
it.
was looking at him.
Yeah. So I'm happy to say 2. So B and 2.
Yes.
B and 2.
Is a community order.
Yes. Have we already given Claudio having to teach languages to other people?
We
before?
have. He has to teach youths.
Yeah. Okay, then so we can't do that one. He needs to give cricket lessons because he loves a little cricket. He loves making the little things.
Yeah.
He has to give cricket lessons to people that want to make their own gear and stuff for their own gear. Yeah. Sorry, I take a drink when I'm meant to be typing there. Okay, and so then what comes in afterwards, and we also need to include a bit from before because we actually forgot to do this a bit before, so we need to mix it all together. It's after the match, Claudio has a bit of a temper tantrum, and he destroys the desk. So obviously he's already had a disorderly behaviour one from before. I think that all mixed into one. I don't think we need to give him any more on that. But throughout the night, he has been causing criminal damage.
Yep.
And so, but obviously early on in the night he smashed the camera, and then now he's smashing the desk. We had a quick look online before we started recording on the price, and if you're watching on YouTube, I'll show you the little image on the screen now with the camera we found. It's very similar to the one that they're using. It's 25.5k worth of camera that they smashed, so I hope TEK's got a really good insurance on that. So because it's the first time we're going to be doing criminal damage, I think, ever. So we're going to go through the levels of culpability for the criminal damage offence. So would you like to do culpability or should I do the culpability?
I'll do the culpability.
Go on then.
Again, there's 3 for this one.
Yep.
So A is high degree of planning or premeditation, a revenge attack, intention to cause very serious damage to property,
Yep.
intention to create a high risk of injury to persons.
Yep.
And then medium culpability is some planning, recklessness as to whether a very serious damage caused to property, or whether it's reckless to injuries caused to persons, and anything between A and C because factors are present in A and C which balance each other out, or the offender's culpability falls between the factors between A and C. And then C is little or no planning, offence committed on impulse.
Yep.
Recklessness as to whether some damage to property caused. Offender's responsibility substantially reduced by mental disorder or learning disability, and involved through coercion, intimidation, or exploitation.
So from reading through them now, I think it might be highly culpable. Because this is a revenge attack. They're pissed off. They're fuming what's going on. They lost the titles. So they want to cause revenge against AEW. And they went out there with the intention to cause very serious damage to property. Yeah. It wasn't like, oh, there's the cameraman, we're going to smash. He went straight for the cameraman as soon as he got out there. Beat the cameraman up. And then caused the property damage from throwing the camera around. Okay. So then with the harm, with this, it is calculated with how valuable something is as well as what other stuff has been caused. So category 1 for harm, it is serious distress caused. Category 2, serious consequential or economical or social impact of offence. And 2, a high value of damage. Category 2 is what falls in between 1 and 3. And 3 is no or minimal distress caused and low value damage. So straight away, category 1, distress was caused. We determined that before when we were doing the public nuisance one. And then category and high level value of damage. And there will be consequential economic damage as well, because TK's got to have to go and buy a new camera for the recording. So I think there's not even any argument of anything other than category 1.
Yeah, no, definitely. So A and 1.
A and 1. So what does he get for doing that? A and 1, 4 years. Fucking hell, Claudia. Fucking hell, you're causing some trouble when you're getting some time here.
Let's just type that in.
4 years. Okay, so what we're going to do now is something a little bit different. We're going to throw it over to maybe future, maybe past, depends on when things get recorded. I think it's future this time.
I think it's future.
Ourselves, while we're going to introduce a new person, and we're going to have a guest spot of doing a guest crime that they bring along with them. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay, and we're back. So basically the discussion with Neil took that long that we are going to release that as a separate episode.
Yeah, it's about the length of an episode that we normally do.
Yeah, I don't feel fair on dumping a 2-hour episode on everybody, so we're just going to release it as a separate episode. Learning pains while we try this new thing out. Probably going forward, that's how we're going to do it. So what we're going to jump into now then is other things we want to discuss about AEW. It's basically not just AEW, but wrestling in general. Yeah.
So, I mean, I've already discussed how nice the ending of Dynamite was, but I need to vent about freaking Kyle. I think it was Tony or Nigel said that none of the conglomeration were in the back.
Yes, wow.
Whilst Ishii was getting destroyed. However, later on, Kyle came out. Kyle has said that he is still part of the conglomeration. Like, they're a family. They just, they're happy to do other things with other people. Yep. But he's still part of the conglomeration. And yet he didn't come out to save Ishii. He did nothing. So I am pissed at him. Like, I am more pissed at him than I am at Rocky for betraying him. Like,
I think I'm more pissed off at Rocky for betraying him, because he was still officially properly part of the conglomeration. Him and Ishii and sometimes Mark and that still wrestled together.
I know.
O'Neill has clearly moved on, and now it's the Paragon they want to call themselves, whatever they call themselves to him. He's clearly moved on. He says he's still part of the conglomeration, but he's clearly not. But still, obviously, pissed off at him because Ishii's your boy. Why aren't you out there defending him? Why aren't you out there help bring the whole Paragon with you so this makes it a bit more even?
Yeah, I mean, pissed off is probably not the right word. I'm more like hurt by it.
Yes, yeah, broke your heart a little bit.
Yeah, Kyle, I loved you, and now I'm mad at you.
So now we've had our kayfabe gripe. Now we're going to jump a bit out of kayfabe. Why the fuck is Ring of Honor titles being lost on AEW TV?
Mm-hmm.
We stopped watching Ring of Honor just after Athena beat Billy for the second time, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Somewhere around then we stopped
Just
watching it.
after the New Year or something.
Because we were fed up with basically what's happening with Jericho, what happened with Commander. Ring of Honor titles don't mean anything for Ring of Honor. They are being... I don't mind them being defended or talked about on AEW TV as much if it actually was being done on Ring of Honor TV as well, and not just the Ring of Honor pay-per-views.
Yeah, there's so much that they've done that could be shown to be promoting Ring of Honor, like with certain people holding certain titles.
Yes.
Could be like, oh, I'm gonna watch Ring of Honor so that I can see
Jericho,
MJF and Adam Cole when they were tag team titles. Like, it could be great for Ring of Honor, but they're taking it away, I feel.
Yeah, like, what's the point of watching Ring of Honor if all of them are just going to turn up on AEW? It's the Ring of Honor TV title. It's clues in the name. Defend it on Ring of Honor TV. It's just fed up. It's just, what's the point? We'll still watch the pay-per-views, but the actual TV, it's pointless to watch, I think. It's just, there's no reason. Yep. But anyway,
I think that's it for our rants.
Yeah, that's our rants. That's our show. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back next week to investigate some more crimes.
Bye.